I hope you're all extremely excited to see some of your favorite characters modernized because now that we're finding out Netflix is buying Warner Brothers for $83 billion, it's bound to happen. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, for months, we have heard the rumors circulating that Warner Brothers was up for sale and they were looking to make a very, very big change in Hollywood because this is going to shake the industry, that's for sure. And now we're finding out that it is confirmed Netflix is buying Warner Brothers for $83 billion. Some of your favorite characters are probably going to be modernized. We are hearing potential antitrust cases. We are also hearing that apparently internally there are meltdowns going on. So it says that Netflix has announced that it struck a deal to acquire Warner Brothers for $82.7 billion. The purchase will go through after Warner Brothers' planned split from Discovery, now expected to take place in Q3 2026. It will see the streamer acquire the Warner Studio, both HBO and HBO Max, and access to IP including Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and DC Comics, and it's so much bigger than this. But what's interesting is even though this isn't going to be taking place until 2027, there's a lot of people that think some of the shows and big franchise expansions that are planned are going to be put on hold now, which wouldn't particularly be surprising. Sometimes we see that happen with these sorts of acquisitions, though we very rarely see ones of this size and this scope. The last one that I can remember that was even close to being this big was Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard for $69 billion, and this is even much more significant than that. Our mission has always been to entertain the world, the co-CEO of Netflix said, by combining Warner Brothers' incredible library of shows and movies, from timeless classics like Casablanca and Citizen Kane to modern favorites like Harry Potter and Friends, with our culture-defining titles like Stranger Things, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Squid Game, we'll be able to do that even better. And I think that this timing is, of course, not shocking either because Netflix has now kind of laid to rest some of their biggest series. Squid Games is rumored to basically be over. The American-centric Squid Game fails, that's it. We know that Stranger Things is just about done, and it's like they're looking at their catalog going, okay, so what next? We know we'll just make some big acquisitions, and this happened to be the biggest that they could possibly do, and it's really not surprising. I mean, look at what Warner Brothers actually has. Here is a list. I'm obviously not going to say all of them, but we're talking about The Matrix, Mad Max, DC Comics, Harry Potter, Scooby-Doo, Rick and Morty, Looney Tunes, Conjuring, Sopranos. You have Mortal Kombat, HBO and HBO Max, Game of Thrones, The Lord of the Rings, film rights, and then a big part of this story is the video games. Warner Brothers Games has, over the past couple of years, really stumbled. Things like Multiverses were shut down. Things like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League came out and were complete and utter failures. But we're talking about tons of different things, like they make all of the Lego video games. You've got NetherRealm, who has Mortal Kombat. You have Rocksteady, who, yes, does have Batman. We recently heard that a Wonder Woman game was canceled. Maybe that could be revived. So we are talking about a lot that is potentially going to change with our favorite characters and, of course, stories. And over the years, a lot of us have changed opinions on Netflix because they do put a narrative first most of the time. A lot of their content is really ideologically driven, and you're talking about them hiring definitely blue-haired Californians. And I want to say, oh, we can't panic yet, but we've seen what Netflix has done over the years, and this is extremely worrying. And sure, this isn't really going to go into effect for at least a year, probably mid to late 2027, though at the same time, we are talking about a major shift in Hollywood. I mean, Netflix really was the worst case scenario possible. Paramount, Universal, those are the companies people would have preferred over Netflix. Okay, while I think no matter who acquired Warner Brothers and all of these different franchises, they would have rebooted and remade and modernized, Netflix really is the worst of the lot right now, and I hate to see this happening. Sure, I don't think any of us really had high hopes for Hollywood turning things around and magically respecting their fan bases and putting their characters and good storytelling first, but wow, is this really a bad situation? And David Zaslav is straight up lying, saying today's announcement combines two of the greatest storytelling companies in the world to bring even more people the entertainment they love to watch the most. Nobody has ever in the history of the universe said Netflix is one of the greatest storytelling companies ever created. That is a complete and utter lie. And really, what he did was he killed Hollywood, in part because he is one of the major reasons why we have seen such a quick shift to an all digital future. And I know that a lot of people think it is basically inevitable at this point, but he is one of the major players to blame in this case. Literally killed an over 100-year-old legacy, and all just for a little bit more profit. This is exactly what he was brought in to do, why he was always resented, and it's effectively further pushed us closer to the end of theatrical and physical media releases. Anyone celebrating this or saying it could have been worse to justify it, I literally don't know what kind of a future you see or value, but it's clearly not the one that I do. And I do think that it could have been worse, but not by much. I guess technically like a CCP entity could have gotten it, and that would have been worse. But we are talking about the worst that we all pretty much expected. And it's so sad that this has happened over the years. We've seen the complete desecration of some of our favorite characters and stories. And what I really want to know is what is going to happen to the video game side of things, because wow, do they have a lot under their belt. Is Hogwarts Legacy 2 going to potentially be delayed? Is it going to just be a copy and paste of that? Is there going to be a shift in the mentality? Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League obviously lost Warner Brothers games over $250 million. They put hundreds of millions of dollars into the development costs, and that didn't turn out well for them. We saw multiverses sort of come and go very quickly because that didn't stick with people. Will they try to revive certain franchises and video games that maybe are dormant right now? Who knows? But a lot of people are saying, yeah, this is definitely not the best situation that could have happened. We've also heard that apparently there's internal turmoil happening. A top exec at Warner Brothers says people are shook over the Netflix deal and no one has any idea what this means, but gamers and moviegoers are definitely voicing how unhappy they are. And they're going to make everything gay. Harry Potter and Stranger Things collab, a new adventure awaits, Game of Thrones and Wednesday, winter is coming. In other words, they own everything now. Mega deal. And I don't necessarily think that they're going to be hit with antitrust, because we are not talking about the 1974 AT&T case here. There are a lot of companies in Hollywood. There are a lot of companies in the entertainment industry. Yes, they do own a lot now, but it's definitely not like 75 or 80%. This is a huge score for Netflix, to be honest. You got more than just one juggernaut IP in your vault now. DC, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, sure, but Looney Tunes, also Scooby-Doo, etc. Wow. My Watch has ended. Are the video game franchise is owned by Warner Brothers part of the deal? Yes, Warner Brothers Games is part of it. Can't wait to see their take on classic IPs. Netflix presents Bugs Bunny. No! It's going to be so interesting to see how people, continue to react because so far it is certainly not positive. Here's a video game post about it. Warner Brothers Games is included in Netflix's acquisition. All Arkham games are going to be ported to mobile, and funny enough, some of them already had been. Like there was the Batman Arkham Origins that was on mobile, and there was an Arkhamverse mobile game that was discontinued in 2017, but that didn't make that much money. Netflix getting Warner Brothers Games is huge. Those studios, Rocksteady, NetherRealm, TT Games, are monsters of the industry. If Netflix plays it smart and lets them cook, we could see some of the best games ever made. And I think that, we're not going to see a shift in that strategy anytime soon because Hollywood is really like their first and foremost focus. But the video game space, could have another contender. That's for sure. Rocksteady and NetherRealms, they've been slacking over the years. Warner Brothers Gaming in general has been slacking over the years, but we could see a revival. And if I was one of these video game companies that's their competition, I would be sweating bullets right now. As long as they free the Nemesis system, this could be the best case scenario possible for this acquisition, is that we actually see something made with the Nemesis system sometime soon. The last Arkham game is going to be Lego Batman, isn't it? And we know that they're going to probably capitalize because they need to make as much money back as possible, but it's wild how much Warner Brothers Gaming has lost over the years. So right now a lot of people are very worried, very skeptical, and rightfully so. Netflix truly was, in my opinion, one of the worst case scenarios. Netflix is a terrible company that doesn't care about giving value to their customers, doesn't care about respecting source material, doesn't even care about respecting history, as we saw with Netflix's Cleopatra, which is definitely not a good look going into this. And customers don't really have a lot of trust or faith in them right now. So I'm sure we are going to see a lot of people in the industry over the next few days freaking out over this. But if you are a fan of anything that Warner Brothers has, you might want to follow this news closely because it could get rough for some of your favorite franchises. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.